And welcome back, everybody. Here, coverage of Week 5, Day 3 here on the last day of the Tencent LPL Summer here for this week. LMQ versus Royal is our next matchup here. My name, of course, is Pastry Time. I'm going to be joined by Papa Smithy. Papa, a great opening game between the two top teams here of the LPL. What can we expect here in this one between LMQ and Royal Club?
LMQ have had a topsy-turvy week. They took out World Elite, a World Elite team who, granted, were experimenting with some role swaps and the like in Game 1 of their week. Convincingly beat by IG, a resurgent IG who, they got a 3-minute ace. That told us a lot about that game. A very exciting game yesterday that you should go back and watch if you haven't grabbed it yet. And now they're faced with a Royal team who've been super, super in form. We almost fell out of our chairs praising Royal for their early movements yesterday. Be interesting to see what they come up with here. But you can see LMQ, a lot of respect bans for some of the quirky champions that Royal are known for coming out.
Yeah, I think the bans tell a lot here already in this draft, and it's almost cute at this point to see that teams are like, okay, we get it now. We don't want to place any of this. Annie was the first ban here from LMQ. That's support Annie up against Royal with Tabe been playing to an absolute T. Fizz is gone, Twisted Fate is gone, and Royal, of course, their bans Orianna, Elise, and Kennen. Very standard here, with maybe the Kennen ban being a tip nod of the hat there towards Dreams. Thresh, the first pick up here for LMQ, which is something that they've been doing quite a bit, actually. A little curious to see just how much they value that pick. And Royal may be going back to their roots here. They've got Shen and Caitlyn as their first two picks.
And that was kind of the question I had, was that, Whites and Tabe, the old veterans, people who were around the American scene during beta, eventually have now moved on to the professional scene in China. They love their hipster champions. They love their offbeat champions. They love their Fizz and Annie. Those have been banned, so I wondered if they had even, more unconventional picks, or whether we'd go back to a kind of more standard comp here. And it does seem like the sieging's back on.
Yeah, Caitlyn Train is ready to go. I mean, that was the ban when we started covering the LPL. The teams were just like, absolutely not, you cannot have this champion. And now, they've got to ban the Annie Fizz. They don't really like Twisted Fate either. So Caitlyn's able to go over there to Royal, and this is definitely, it's kind of nice, right? I mean, it seems like a lot of teams, certainly the ones that are doing well here in the LPL, are the ones that are able to kind of have two different comps, right? Because teams get used to it, you kind of refine it. You could see Royal really kind of turned on their assassin play to a point where it was just very, very strong, because it wasn't really working in the early stages. And now that it's good, teams are like, okay, none of that please, we don't like it. Like, okay, we'll go back to what we used to beat you with. And now it's like, great, I don't have enough bans for all these champions.
And they haven't committed to a full-on siege comp yet. The last pick here will be super interesting. And speaking of interesting, Ashe coming out in the LPL Pastry Time. But no, the Kassadin here, it's being mulled over. That was the champion that, much like Fizz last season, Whites was really playing that champion, blind picking it, just aggressively playing that champion, and snowballing, and he's back.
Yep, he's ready to go. I mean, Whites, as we've said, loves his assassins. I mean, he was playing, Fizz got banned. I can't remember what champion he was playing. I think it was Gragas, maybe? It was some assassin-esque champion that was a little strange, but you're absolutely right in that he is known for his Kassadin, and he's going to bring it out here as well. So, Royal haven't completely, 180'd their recent kind of recent style, it seems like. They've still got Whites.
Uzi on Kate, though, Pastry Time, is a nice nod to, kind of previous to Week 3 or really early LPL action.
Yeah, I mean, it's a kind of a nice hybrid almost of kind of the last two comps we've seen in the last few weeks. It's not quite the Siege, it's not quite the Fallen Assassin, it's kind of a good mix of both, and with the way they've been playing and just executing, especially a lot of their early game, Royal, with almost any 5 champions, would look scary here.
And that's something they have to prove, though, Pastry. When they've gone all in on sieging and all in on smart assassin play, excluding that one game we saw where they went 4 assassins and just kind of threw everything against the wall, Royal have looked very good, but sometimes when they've played standard, they've tripped up. So let's see if they keep that level 1 going.
Oh, Taunt, they're just missing from Godlike. No name here. Looked to be in a little bit of trouble. Killed him a Peacemaker. Actually, the damage chasing through. Ashe there volleys in for the slow, and everybody wants to back away here. Royal thought about chasing in the bush. Didn't have vision, of course, so it looked a little scary. It looks like they'll back off as a result. But this is something that I think now defines Royal as a team that is not just a product of, say, the level 1 AoE stun of Annie that she has as support. Royal almost always seem to be look very aggressive at level 1 in the jungle, and it's nice to see a team that really wants to look and try and make picks happen. I mean, even Godlike here leveled his taunt just to be like, yeah, we may be going to get a kill here. Obviously, he's going to struggle a bit now. They didn't get anything, but it's nice to see that Royal, despite not having their Annie, still looking aggressive at level 1 in the jungle.
And of course, last game, we saw them posture, get the aggressive wards down, and a lot of teams leave it there. They just want to keep tabs on the enemy jungler. But the 3-buff start opened up a lot of why they were able to easily dismantle positive energy yesterday. they weren't able to get that ward down on a buff this time, so that might have just changed how they're playing. In fact, LMQ here, they're trying something.
This is a really smart invade here up the top through the tribal tree. In fact, 5-man invade nonetheless here. If they time it just right here, the buff's going to spawn. They are going to spot it though. That means everybody has to back away. The hook will land on the Lucky though. He's going to get pulled in. The damage coming through. Ignite will pick it up there. And that's a kill there for Dreams. Top rise off to a nice little start. Plus the buff's still going to come here as well. And the jungler's dead, by the way, so Lucky cannot even start a buff, which is probably the worst thing about what just happened there. That was really, really clever from LMQ. They've clearly been doing their homework.
I guess luckily Royal haven't gone for a 3-buff start here or anything greedy with their blue buff. There is a buff available to Shyvana that is safe for her to pick up at level 1.
The red buff's actually gone? I'm confused here. I can't see it on the minimap, so maybe I'm just missing it from LMQ's side. But it seems like the red buff is absent somewhere. I don't know who has it as a result, but I'm sure we'll find out soon. Here's Shyvana on the blue buff now. Jarvan overtaking his as well, so double buff for him. Single buff, of course, for Lucky here, who got unlucky in that instance, and a very smart invade there coming through from LMQ. Picks him up the first blood. And looks like 4 people in the middle here. It's something we've seen a little more of here. I mean, you have a Caitlyn, if you're going to be able to push early and want to get a tower down, the mid one's probably the one you want.
Definitely, and the Ashe pick, the only Ashe we've seen so far in the LPL this season was on World Elite. Actually tried it out. Wei Zhao tried to pick that up. You know, a pick that's been quite common in the NALCS. Cloud9 running it to great effect there. But World Elite, they ran it. They were against a Jarvan, and Jarvan just crushed the Ashe. You know, it's one of those situations where being that low mobility champion really paid for a lot of aggressive turret dives coming down on Ashe. A little bit different here. We see Ashe in the mid. She has Jarvan on her side, so the initiation potential of the Crystal Arrow, it's been there since beta time. It's been super, super powerful since then, so we'll see if they can put it to good use.
Yeah, it's kind of funny actually to not see Jarvan and Caitlyn on the same team, because they're definitely buddies when it comes to pushing quite aggressively, as you noted. I mean, LMQ certainly happy to have that one here. Lucky Shyvana normally looks very strong. I mean, these aren't quite lanes where you have a mass amount of CC and you can really get in with the Shyvana damage and just make a gank happen, not through having lots of CC, but through having plenty of damage to contribute to the gank. So we'll see what Shyvana can get done here. Clearly Royal wanted to be aggressive early on in the jungle, but a very clever invade from LMQ, as we noted. Definitely halting the plans a little here for Shyvana, although Lucky seems to be getting levels now, not too far behind.
And Royal are very happy with this Cassidy versus Gragas matchup, just because it's not in mid lane, so Cassidy is at a little bit more risk than he would be if this lane was in the matchup was in the mid lane, but Cassidy's actually a very favourable pickup against Gragas, so quite happy there, Royal.
So top lane there, 1v1. I mean, once again, White's up towards the top lane, even has teleport on his Cassidy as well. So clearly just interested in doing farming. In fact, White's, I think, played teleport a couple of times here, but kind of with a champion like Cassidy, your kill potential doesn't really hover around until you actually hit 6, and you kind of just want to navigate, you know, the early laning phase as best you can anyway. So having a high impact spell like teleport towards the mid and late game, maybe going to fit the style a little bit more there as well. And they've got Shen for even more teleport craziness if they really want to.
It's just one of those situations against a melee AP like Gragas. Cassidy can always split the lane against Gragas. Even in the top lane here, he's still gankable before 6, but the fact that he can harass from range and get that CS going, there's just not really many ways for Gragas to punish Cassidy in the lane.
No, I mean, to Joash's credit, he's actually ahead on CS by quite a bit here up against Cassidy, almost 15 or so ahead, so doing a good job in that department. Avenger very low here. By the way, peeled over Peacemaker, blocked there by the Dark Passage shield. Very, very quick reactions there from that Thresh, but Royal finally blew the Ashe out of lane. Godlike actually taunt off to the side there to not get knocked up. That was next level. My goodness, that was very clever from Shen. I mean, he got red buff slow, but that was it. So very, very quick play there. I mean, I think Godlike may have even messed it up and not wanted to taunt into the wall, but it looked cool, so I'm going to give him credit for it here. It's Lucky now in the mid on Shyvana. This is kind of one of the things that we've seen Shyvana doing. Again, some of the junglers that are being picked up down the LPL are good at doing, facilitating aggressive pushes. Shyvana is very, very good at pushing lanes.
Absolutely. I mean, she does have those damage ganks if you have high CC, but much like Nasus, nothing wrong with her coming into a lane, using that burnout, pushing the lane, and then she has the auto attack reset. In fact, the auto attack augment, as you pointed out before, to do that bonus auto attack damage to really push down turrets. As we see harass coming out from Zhao Wei Zhao, just throwing out the barrel to remind Cassidy that, hey, I'm here and I'm relevant.
Well, his going back, it had the nice little effect of actually pushing the minions into the turret as well, because of course it does deal damage to minions. So cute move there from Zhao Wei Zhao. He's going to go back to base, and what he picks up next is going to be very curious. Oh, never mind, he's actually still here. I guess he thought he could kill White. Now, surely Gragas is going to go back, although maybe not, as Cassidy's actually actually the one that needs to retreat. He's got a Catalyst up now, going to buy himself a ward as well. Possibly going to use the teleport to make sure he doesn't fall too far behind. In fact, he will there. Teleport back up towards the top lane. And Shower out of mana could be in a bit of trouble here against this Kassadin, who's now hit level 6. But as expected, Grag's going to back off now as well. Dream's going to do the same here, expecting at least Tear the God to finish up for Rise. And he'll make me wait. No, Catalyst instead. And another Sapphire Crystal.
And I guess the question to me is, how long do they keep this Kassadin in the top lane here? They're happy with the lane matchup. There is in fact some kill potential coming onto Gragas here for this Kassadin, but no roam potential. I'm not sure how happy they are to have Kassadin in the top lane. No access to blue buff as well. I mean, they could just go ad nauseam and have him just slowly farm and then show up in the mid game with the Rod of Ages and Soul Shoes, or they could swap back, and I'm not sure which way they'll go.
There's an interesting little bit of presence here on the map where I almost feel like Royal want to take the next blue buff, which, if you have Kassadin in the top, that makes a lot of sense, right? Especially with 2 mid with that kind of aggressive Caitlyn Stone. Although actually White's coming in now, looking to gank now as that Kassadin, so using that mobility in a different way here to try and pressure them in. In fact, this tower is going to take a lot of damage here. In fact, it's
lovely
done.
Rotation. They chumped it before, send 4 men and get the job done.
As I said, that blue steel is still potentially on the table with even more room opened up in the middle of the map there. I mean, that's one thing that, to me, that kind of looks like they want to do. As you said, no access to blue buff is bad news for Kassadin, although never mind, he's going to rotate there instead. So that was the plan for Royal. Just have Kassadin roam mid, push out that tower, and now we're going to give Cass blue buff the other way. In fact, Shen, never mind, they're actually rotating Sona Caitlyn up towards the top lane. It all makes sense now, Papa Smithy.
Yeah, and this is what I was thinking about, was that there's always a room to... You always want to move Kassadin to mid when you can get away with it. In this case now, with that aggressive pushing, there's going to be just that much more potential for Kassadin to roam, because there's going to be areas that the creeps don't see. So he's going to be able to hang back, clear the wave when it's pushed in, and when he pushes it out, potential to be aggressive.
No name there, looking again to Godlike down in the bottom lane, but everything's okay for now. 2 champions here in the mid lane is going to make Force Pulse a little better, which is good because that's AoE. In fact, Lucky going in, Sand United on top as well. Enchanted Crystal Arrow, but Shen does come in good, like not quite close enough. And there's the flash burn from Ashe as well to get her out of the way. Shen even flashed there as well. So lots...
Taunt Flash does miss to a counter flash, so a lot of resources used for no gain.
Quick fingers there for Avenger to get out of that one. And yeah, lots and lots of cooldowns burnt. I was kind of noting to myself in the draft that Dragon's Descent plus Stand United is kind of a cute combo, so nice to see that coming out there as well for Royal, but unfortunate use of those resources. They don't quite get the kill they were after. Everyone's going to return to their lanes pretty happily at this point. In fact, White's now at this point rotating up towards the top lane. I mean, this is really nice pressure here from Kassadin. I mean, one of 2 things happens. Either they get the kill on Xiao Weishao, who hangs out a little too far around, or they continue pressuring the top lane here to try and get this turret down. So I like the fact that Kassadin's here. It's kind of being used in tandem with Shyvana just to pressure lanes so they can push them harder. It's not necessarily that they want kills. In fact, there's only 1 kill on the board. That's not even in Royal's hands here. LMQ, the ones with the only kill here, as they picked up first blood. But just, again, the movement from Royal's really, really precise, and that's something that we've really seen almost come into their own in the LPL here. It's just absolutely magic to watch.
The CS values, though, Page Time, and the overall global goal, despite the fact that the first turret did go down for Royal there, is in the advantage of LMQ here, and it's this Rise vs Shen matchup that actually could provide a lot of pain for Royal here, just because Rise has been pretty unimpeded. Like, most of the Rises we've seen in top lane or in off lanes recently have been severely held down, just piecemeal builds at the 30-minute mark. But this Rise here, potential to get very powerful and just wail away on Shen all throughout this game.
He's got a lot of attention from Jarvan, who's actually still down in the bottom lane now. The red buff, thank God, like here, getting a Root Prison up. There's the knock-up guaranteed this time around. The taunt going to come through. Cataclysm on top, though. That could be a mistake from No Name, actually. He takes quite a bit of damage. Forced to flash out from under that turret, so a little too aggressive there. No way for Dreams to follow up, but damage there coming in there. Xiao Weishao using his ultimate in the top lane just to try and keep the creep waves out of the way. I mean, Royal relentlessly pushing towards his bottom lane. Uzi here finds a creep wave as soon as it comes into range. Now that he's out from under the turret. I mean, Gragas cannot hold this lane for long. I mean, he's level 9 now, so max barrel roll means he can clear minion waves quite quickly with the AoE. But even then, I mean, I don't think he can hold 2v1 here against Sona Caitlyn, and there we go, the turret falls.
And this is a return to form.
Lucky as well there. Bad news for that threat. She gets popped there by Kassadin, and now Avenger going to be in trouble here as well. Doesn't even need the next Rift Walk as Lucky's burnout cleans him up. And absolutely, as you said, Papa, return to form here for Royal. 2 turrets now to 0.
and return to the split push. They always were about getting that first turret down, rotating Caitlyn around the other outer lanes, and getting that 3-turret advantage. They're well on the way here, and I just love the fact that you've got Kassadin with a turret, Ashe, Thresh, you know, fairly low mobility, you know, AD carry support lane, with no turret behind them, an easy gank even for someone like Shyvana.
Yeah, and Lucky just came in there, had plenty of room to move around. I think had red buff as well at the time. In fact, probably didn't even need it, and just ran in with a burnout, and that was all she wrote there for that.
I mean,
one.
in a long lane, you know, or in a chase scenario, Kassadin has immense CC. I mean, that's what's coming true.
Absolutely, and Shyvana's good in that spot as well. And you know, not normally a long lane is the mid lane, but obviously now with that tower down, has opened up into a much longer lane than LMQ would like it to be, and just great pressure all around here for Royal. Now down towards the bottom lane, we do see that Caitlyn and Sona group up now, and looks like Infinity Edge is actually going to be the first item here for Caitlyn. That honestly to me is a little surprising.
Yeah, I mean, the Bloodthirster would make a lot of sense when it came to straight sieging, but they're doing so well in the siege without Caitlyn having to be a heavy lifter here that why not go for that single target damage? You know, why not be able to kill the Ryze here, who is still building up, but has the potential to get very strong.
And now Dreams here, I mean, he was having a fine time against Shen, does not particularly like this particular pair.
No, absolutely not. So they don't need the Snowball Bloodthirster. They're doing so well. Just go all in on the more expensive Infinity Edge.
And I mean, they get the 3 turrets down, able to force a mid-game team fight. Infinity Edge going to be absolutely worth its weight in all the gold that it's worth. And I mean, it almost feels like it's a matter of time here until Royal are able to get that next start. In fact, Stange now going to ride the Kassadin Lantern, not available there for Avenger. He gets it at the last second. The flay back on Shyvana as well, but a flash forward there. The barrier now popped as well, and Shyvana doesn't even need to auto, just walks in front of the Ashe. Now White's coming through again, looking for that kill into Thresh, but Royal will back away there. Very, very nice execution there. And you mentioned it before, Ashe not really able to get away, even with the mobility of Dark Passage. There was nothing she could do against Shyvana.
But map movement from Royal, again, very impressive. I just love the fact that taking this mid turret, then rotating back in Kassadin, gives Kassadin immense pressure in a 1v2 situation. Because if it ever becomes 2v2, CC aplenty.
That was a really nice ult from Chalet Shower as well. Good setup there from Uzi for the ace in the hole into Gragas. So Whites could try and clean up the kill there on Kassadin, but a good explosive cast there will get him out of the way, and no Rift Walk available means that Gragas does close the distance there. So, a nice attempt there from Royal, but not going to quite work out the way they want to. But they do get really what they look for down towards the bottom lane. That's 3 turrets in 14 and a bit minutes here, Papa Smithy. Royal, plan A is back on.
Yeah, 3 turrets with a Shen who has that Spirit Visage will have plenty of global presence now. There's just so much room for Kassadin to roam and be aggressive here. You know, we see Ryze wailing away on Shen. He is in a good spot in that situation, but White's...
Uzi, bad news. Good ult there from Tabe coming through. Thresh could be in trouble, and that is going to be the case there. Jarvan actually coming in. Uzi still somehow alive. Does get picked off there by the red buff of Jarvan as he pokes in. Now White's forced to Rift Walk out. Just gets over the top there. Rune Prison not quite ready. And 2 for 3 there, actually, the trade there. The bottom lane for Royal falls. A decent ult there with good Kassadin pressure. Almost looks like Royal we're going to be able to sweep it, maybe 3-0, 3-1, but good amount of damage coming through there from LMQ. They'll be happy to pick up a couple of kills, but Godlike still in the top lane wailing away. The mobility is really going to start to get to LMQ as this gold advantage stretches out.
Absolutely, and we always talk about how happy Blitzcrank is when 3 out of turrets are down. He can get aggressive wards and get picks. I mean, Kassadin is that to the nth degree. A roaming assassin with just insane mobility, with a lack of map vision on the LMQ side. We see the oracles coming down from Royal here just to amplify that. This Kassadin 3-0-3 already out of order. Potential to get much, much worse.
Yeah, Lucky, as he noted, quite an early Oracle series. Had it for almost 2 minutes at this point, so probably picked up around the 14-minute mark. You know, as a Doran's Blade has boots of speed, going to be plenty fast with burnout, doesn't need extra, and already has that core spirit of the Ancient Golem. So a bit of a raw build here for Lucky, but if it's providing the space and pressure that the rest of the team needs to really use the mobility aggressively and get that siege going and keep that push alive, then absolutely the right choice here for Royal. So looking good here. The gold lead, not massive, interestingly enough. 3,000 gold's decent at 16 minutes, but I think Royal would love to be further ahead. I think the good news, of course, though, is that they've got complete control of the map still.
And 5th pick Kassadin with 100% kill involvement, with a huge structure advantage. Not many teams will ever come back from this sort of an early game advantage, even though the gold doesn't necessarily reflect it.
And we'll have to see, LMQ, can they do it? They've got decent late game here. I mean, not even late game they need necessarily, just kind of weather this mid game here, and it's going to be a big, big storm for Royal. And Shen's now a problem as well. He's got a giant spell building up towards the Sunfire, and as you said, with that Spirit Visage Papa, that juicy cooldown reduction, not to mention just against Ryze, if that's who he expects, it's also nice as well for a bit of magic resist. I mean, Jarvan here setting up towards the top for a gank now, but Stange United's back. Godlike's level 11 now, so big jump in shield power for that ultimate as well. And if they need him, he can be there. And it's just problems all across the map now for LMQ. There are 3 lanes, they're completely stretched across all of them. Oh my goodness, why does Tabe have an Oracles? Double Oracles.
Complimenting there. I mean, the one unlucky is going to drop soon. You know, it still only has about a minute and a half left there.
I mean, that's a bold statement for me for Royal. I mean, Tabe's like, yeah, I'm good. I got a pink ward, I got these boots one, I got some ruby side stone, that's all I need. I'll buy an Oracles now. I mean, really kind of tells you how aggressive Royal looking to be here. Dragon's likely up soon as well. Wasn't felled all too long ago now, so they can likely pick that up as well.
It's worth noting that Ryze can only be sent to deal with Shen every 5 minutes or so, because of course the snare doesn't interrupt the Stan United channel, at least in 3.9. So it's one of those situations where every 5 minutes when he has someone to teleport up, it's fine, but when that cooldown is burned, you know, it's about a minute and a half away here.
Oh, Godlike, I think he's in trouble. The Flay there coming in, right in the lantern over there, flash in there as well. Cataclysm used Godlike, flashes over the top, he faints, but it's not enough. Dreams there with the overload to pick him up. Royal opening the space up to clean out the dragon. Not a bad trade there. That was a lot of people thrown at Godlike to pick him up, and I think that kind of exemplifies the problem here. LMQ stretched over all 3 lanes and have to commit multiple champions to each of them.
Yeah, and ganking a Shen, you know, you get the kill. That's the way to deal with the global pressure. But swapping that for a dragon, that's not the trade.
Oh, good arrow onto Tabe. Flayback as well. The volley through. Good crescendo, but the ult there for Gragas will go through as the death sentence pulls her a little closer. Avenger with that kill. That's a nice little one there for LMQ. I mean, it's not even just the Shen that's the problem, though. They've still got strong presence with Shyvana, Caitlyn, Sona. That triple threat really pushes aggressively and has decent presence around through their lane. Not to mention the mobility of Whites, who can push lanes reasonably swiftly. As with the AP he's got, especially with Force Pulse ready to go. And he is Magi's, by the way. White's not interested so much in pushing. He wants to snowball kills here. In fact, he's going to try and 1v1 this Jarvan. Notes Gragas coming up there as well, so backs away there without too much vision of where the rest of LMQ are. But you mentioned casting was scary in this situation already. It's about to get a lot worse for LMQ if Whites picks up a few kills.
And I feel like his team has facilitated this very aggressive Magi's build here, just because with that double Oracles we've been speaking about, and I believe Lucky's Oracles is just timed out now, with that map vision advantage, why not go for that aggressive choice? You know, he's ahead, he's 3-0-3, he has that kill participation through the roof. Why not go for the Magi's? Because he's far enough ahead that it doesn't hold back his main build. And his team is amplifying that by getting a huge vision advantage for Caston to ride in there and pick up their stacks.
Blue buff on Caitlyn now as well, going to make all those Piltover Peacemakers even better and more frequent there. So going to look to probably keep pushing down the mid lane. See Godlikes are up towards the top. White's going to pick up blue now as he goes back to base. So clearly got some shopping to do. I mean, it's funny to me, I think the way Royal started their laning really exemplifies how they wanted this game to go. You know, big presence mid, strong, push down aggressively, and then kind of use the mobility of your other 2 laners and move through. It almost feels like they're just kind of keeping what they started here, in that we've got a strong presence mid here, teleport actually coming out towards this Baron, and Royal going to look to sneak this one away quite quickly here at just past the 20-minute mark. I mean, Ryze kind of knows what's up as Godlike's rotating through. Thresh is going to check it out as well, but I don't know if there's anything they can do. Their jungler's all the way across the other side of the map towards Dragon. The box there from Thresh going to come through, and Chana Chris R from Ash Tabe. Very low here, forced to flash out there as Dream's going to look to clean that up. Oh my god, it's Sona, not the Baron. Thank goodness there as Thresh gets that one. Lucky now over the top, trying to make something happen. Ace in the hole will follow through there as well into Dreams. Looks like Thresh going to be tangled up there as well, as Shen plus Shyvana going to dump on there and pick that one up. So a 1-for-1 trade there as both supports go down. White slow chasing down that Ryze, going to make it 1-for-2. And Royal, of course, with that Baron, exactly what they wanted. Their Avenger taunted up now as well. Cataclysm there as Ash is forced to flash, but White is ready to play Janitor. He's there for the cleanup. Stange United on top of Uzi actually to keep going in there as Lucky just gets out alive. White with the triple kill, picks up a metric ton of Magi stacks in there.
7 stacks Page Time. That basically, in one fight there, already item efficiency coming out of that Magi's.
And Baron, of course, plenty of extra stats there for Royal. That was a very aggressive Baron, but really, this is the Royal that we've been seeing now as we've moved through the weeks here. Absolutely precise and confident in their decisions. It's scary to play against a team who says, we're far enough ahead, we're going to do Baron at 20 minutes. That is not usual for a team.
It just feels like they spent a week and a half there kind of investigating things, working out what they were all about, what made Royal, what strengths they had to the team and how to best use that. And ever since they've kind of thrown some things out there and found out what works, they've refined what works and what champion picks they're comfortable on to just be a team that, they're sitting at 8-6, they'll be 9-6 if they win this game. They're ready to make an assault on the top here, Beige Time, as they've shown with some of their recent victories.
They really are here. It's Godlike. Finish up his Sunfire Cape now, and Shench are going to get their split push going even better here. Aegis on the way for Lucky as well. After Spirit of the Ancient Golem, we already mentioned the Magi's. A Fiendish Codex is the next buy here for Castan. I'm curious to see what that gets turned into.
In my head, that's going to be a Deathfire Grasp that just means a Rift Walk and a single combo killing Ash would be the goal of picking up that item, I think.
Never mind, he's finished his Deathfire Grasp, Papa Smithy. That's very, very scary.
The instant kill Ash, I think. I think Ash is kind of the crown jewel of this comp, and of course we've noted her lack of mobility here. If he can get her down in one burst, he's doing his job.
I mean, the comp here from LMQ actually does a good job of protecting that Ash as well. We've got Grag Assault, got Jarvan to kind of maybe block off some terrain there with Cataclysm, but just in general also gives Ash a nice steroid with attack speed there. I mean, the arrow going to come through there, maybe can pick off White's, but it wears off the ace in the hole coming through now as well. Jarvan looking to make something happen. He gets obliterated as damage comes through there from Castan and Burst. Uzi going to clean up the last hit there on that one. I mean,
BFG there, Page Time, so much damage from Castan.
And that's bad news when your tank jumps into the front line, tries to initiate, and gets exploded instantly.
Well, you say tank. I think you have to use tank fairly liberally here. I mean, you pick Jarvan to be more of a tanky champion most of the time, but Spirit of the Elder Lizard, that's not a tank item.
No, I mean, not to say that No Name is tanky at this point, but he's the one they're relying on to do a lot of the soaking of the damage. I mean, he soaked it all in that last little exchange, and Royal now are going to look to siege here. White's just dashing back and forth. And now this mid inhibitor absolutely under threat here. I don't think there's anything LMQ can really do. I mean, Tabe taking a decent chunk of damage, but it doesn't really matter if Sona dies here. The hook going to come through. They will get Godlike here, but Shen, he is tanky. They don't really want to get him in the mix. Jarvan back again. Cataclysm activated there as well. Great double taunt there from Godlike. Gets Xiaowei Xiao and Avenger, the two key members there. Now Royal diving in there as well. The damage from Uzi coming through, and White's in the front. They're playing cleanup right now. Crescendo there coming through as well. Will stop Dreams in his tracks. The double kill for Castan, and there's a 3-for-0 trade happens. And Jarvan's death timer ridiculously short there at this early stage of the game. But he respawned only to die again here. White's looking for more prey now as the ace in the hole is going to clean it up for Uzi. 4-for-0 as Thresh able to get out of the way. But LMQ look absolutely in ruins right now. Royal, so scary.
Double-digit stacks for Whites here. 15-6, 13k gold lead. They might not finish the game right now, but this game's almost in the books for Royal.
And this is a game where, we've seen some kooky stuff. We've seen the Mana Sword of the Occult coming out from Cool, playing that Pantheon in our first week, actually, of coverage here in week 3. We've seen some Ghost Blades from PDD. I actually think this Magi from Whites, I'm willing to go on record and say that I think that's a purely strategic, not a purely strategic choice, a heavily strategic choice from Royal. It's not that Castan thinks he's just absolutely going to dominate this game and feels confident or cocky. I think
absolutely, it's not like a I'm a hot stuff amazing Castan player pickup here. It's literally the team basically demanded that. They picked up those oracles, they got that map vision down, they got the outer turrets, they set him up, and that was perhaps the best use of 1235 gold on any item that Castan could pick up in such a match, which in a competitive game, in such a high-stress environment, says a lot about just how strong Royal's decision-making and comp-making has been.
Yeah, and it's not often that a snowball item is used for its actual purpose of snowballing. It's very rare, especially competitive play, but Royal making it look easy here with Whites just completely gunning down everybody. Dreams they gets chunked very, very low. And there's no one that can fight this Castan 1v1. Absolutely no one. And even Whites is a split push threat now as well. He's got teleport as well if he needs to jump around the map. Highly mobile, very hard to pin down. And this Stand United going to come in here. They want Xiaowei Xiao, a decent ult. They're coming through. 90 Kelvin that forward. They're trying to make it happen. Uzi even flashes over. Lucky flashing in there as well as Godlike tangles up No Name there with the taunt. Avenger actually flashing over the tree line. Crescendo almost picking up that Ash, but not quite there. And never mind, it does go down there as Shen actually picks up the kill there onto Ash. Sona picking up Jarvan there instead. The box there activated, but here comes White. He's so scary there. The chunkage coming through there as Thresh is going to get taken quite low here. The Rune Prison coming through as White goes legendary, picking up 1 kill with the Rift Walk. And a 3-for-1 there. They lose their AD carry. The Queen of Siege, the one they absolutely want to have in pushes, and it just doesn't even matter.
Oh, it doesn't matter, pastry time. This game definitely snowballed, much like the Magi's, completely out of LMQ's element.
And LMQ, they're going to fight here. White's here, a little low. Decides that, you know what, I don't care. Home guard now finished up as well. Going to jettison himself back here. Rabbit on Death Cap almost completed now as well, as Blasting One has been built here for Kassadin. I mean, I just popped down looking at some of the other items here. Uzi has silly amount of items right now. We've got Infinity Edge, Zeal, Vamp Scepter as Ash's items. We've got triple damage items already completed for Uzi, and a spare Bilge Water Cutlass just in case. I mean, the gold lead is massive here, and it really shows.
It just feels like the Ash pick in particular, and it's something that's been so effective in North America, and that might just be the difference in the scenes. It almost feels like you might get the same return if you played Shyvana in North America with their different warding habits. But Ash just hasn't come together so far in the LPL, been preyed on both games that we've seen. And Royal, the Baron comes down.
A second, mostly unnecessary Baron, I'd say, from Royal comes out, but they take it. Might as well deny LMQ basically the last chance they might have had of keeping themselves in this game by potentially Miracle stealing a Baron buff, but even if that had happened, I mean, White's here just going to go in DFT onto No Name. Damage in there. Rune Prison, no good. The Cataclysm, the Rift walks out from under it. Just so slippery, that Kassadin. I mean, they don't quite have enough CC to lock him down. If they chain it perfectly, then they probably do, but not enough members there. And that's a lot of people to commit to just killing a Kassadin. There are plenty of threats on Royal side here. Top inhibitor, pretty much a formality at this point. The mid inhibitor already down here. Miniglai's pushing down towards the bottom as well. But I think that inhibitor's even dead if I look at my minimap correctly. And LMQ now up towards their Nexus. The last defense they can put out here. The hook coming out just missing under once. Godlike going deep. Divine Dragon's Ascent in his crescendo comes out for Tabe. Now the Pilt of a Peacemaker rocks in. Heals coming through. A good ult there, but a flash out from Kassadin does go down there as Avenger picks him up. The Stangenet actually used that onto Shyvana there from Shen. And I think Kassadin got a little too close to the laser. 2 for 2 there, the trade. And LMQ fighting for their lives here, but that might not even be enough. And that's never a good thing. I mean, they're going to defend for now. Mid inhibitor pops back up. LMQ holding on for dear life here in this game, but Royal, it looks almost academic at this point. Even coming back.
It's felt that way for a good 8 or 9 minutes, but John Royal had this game all ends up.
Oh, Shyvana with an E-kill there. That would not have happened before the change there. That ability's not supposed to be that long. Oh my goodness, Avenger. The crit there. Close to 600 damage there onto the Ash. Damage still coming in now as I was lucky with the chase down the last few kills. There could be problems there. Java looking for the knock-up actually. We'll find it. And Uzi now going to turn around the damage. I mean, No Name. Just no tank items to speak of at all. LMQ, there's too many damage. That's a Royal good hook damage in there as well. And Avenger will pick up that kill. I mean, Ash finally picking up kills, but too little too late for that one. Tabe actually with the locket and a bunch of super minions going to try and finish it off. Game over there for Sona. And game over soon for LMQ here as well. Defending still. The Nexus is still technically alive. But I don't think it's going to last much longer here. LMQ, very little if nothing they can do at this point. The inhibitor going to fall here as Lucky comes in for one last swipe. And we'll see if they can even defend off the super minions here. Gragas back up, 10 seconds on the rest. No, they can't. They're Lucky with the style ult back in there. And Royal, a very, very well played game there. A massive gold lead towards the end of it as well. Just fantastic League of Legends.
Yeah, trying to throw Royal off their element with the Annie and Fizz bands, 2 champions that have propelled themselves to this, at the moment, outright third place, standing in the LPL. But the return of that Kassadin, that return of that champion from the Void, just so powerful from a player who, he's most comfortable on Assassins, you'd have to say. He loves the Fizz, he loves the Kassadin, and they even got the favorable lane matchup for Kassadin. He wouldn't have wanted to be in top lane, but 1v1 against Gragas, a good matchup for him, and he made LMQ pay there. So GG well played to Royal. What a week for them. 3 wins out of 3. I don't know if they've had a perfect week before, but must be feeling great after week 5.
Yeah, I mean, as we said, really seem to come into their own as a team, looking absolutely monstrous here at the end of week 5 here, and a great well-played game to them as well. LMQ coming off the back of some nice victories recently as well, could not make it happen here, so we'll see. Of course, if you've missed any of those games, you'd like to catch up on any of the other games that Royal have played this weekend, or of course, any of the other teams, feel free to head over to youtube.com/lolchamps, you can check out all the coverage that we've been doing here for the Tencent LPL Summer, and with that, we are halfway through now. Week 5, Day 3 as the Tencent LPL Summer coverage continues.